Hello, it's Baron Niko again. We'll talk about thrusting now for the part three of our series. Now, I break thrusting down into areas of measure or range. A measure or range is the distance between you and your opponent. If I am here, way back there, I am not in range. I am not in range to fight. I have to get closer, or my opponent has to get closer for us to be able to hit each other or stab each other. Now I'm in range because I can touch by some means. So I'm going to start out with the close range or the thrust of the arm. Okay, get that grip. Remember your bent knees. You're on the balls of your feet. Your other hand is called your secondary hand or your off hand. I would bring it up in about uh, not facing, totally away from your opponent, but just at a little bit of an angle. You don't want it palm facing your opponent because that's a target. That can be easily hit. You want it here because you're going to be using it for defense later. We'll talk about that. So that's here. Now, to thrust, we're doing the close thrust or the thrust of the arm. You're only using your arm to hit. So all you do is you get on guard. This is your on guard position. Remember, your back of your arm should be about a hand's width between the back of your arm and your body. You should not be in here, and you should not be sticking out this way. Okay, so here, and the point of the sword should be towards between the eyes and the throat of your opponent. For many reasons. One is that means that you're always a threat because people don't like to see points close to their eyes. I know. So to thrust, we're going to straighten our arm and turn our wrist. Straighten our arm, turn the wrist. Okay. Now the reason I turn the wrist and not just do this and straighten out the arm is that when you straighten out an arm completely like this without turning your wrist, you lock your elbow. Remember, we're here to fight our friends and kill them, but we're not here to hurt them or to get hurt. So if something happens where I straighten out my arm and the person comes further in than I think, I have less ability to deflect the blow somewhere because my arm is locked, my elbow is locked. So when when I stab and turn, my quillions are now parallel with the ground. Now I have a bend in my elbow so that if I hit and something's wrong, I can automatically bend my elbow more. Okay? So, get on guard, thrust, and retreat. Thrust, and recover. Thrust, and recover. The turn of the sword, touch, and come back. Remember, this is a game of touch. You do not want to hit the pell or, God forbid, your opponent hard because remember these are steel. This is live steel and can wound and can hurt people. So you don't want to do that. You want to just touch to feel it. You don't want to see the sword bend. Okay, it's not like collegiate fencing. So back of the arm. Your secondary is up, pointed, turn and thrust. Turn and thrust. Okay, when you're good with that, I would say practice at least 10 to 30 to 300,000 times. Take a half step back. Second one is the medium range, the medium measure, attack of the arm and shoulder. Now, I am going to do the same thing as I did before, which is extend and turn. Now I can't reach, so I am moving my shoulder closer, which means I'm bending at the waist, and then I bend my knee, and I can touch. Okay? So remember, everything starts with the sword tip. Pretend like somebody grabs your sword and pulls you, and that's how you feel the motion. So the motion goes from the sword tip, your hand, your arm, your shoulder. The shoulder moves your torso. The torso moves your knee, and then that's the attack. And then recover. Always recover. So hand, shoulder, torso, knee, recover. Eventually it will become almost one flowing strike so that it becomes here. Okay, that is the medium range, medium measure. Strike, Again, your hand up. In some of the masters, they bring their hand back for balance. Again, it's the masters the way to do it, but because we in the SCA tend to use our hand as a defensive secondary, is what we call it. We keep the hand in front of us instead of bringing it back. But you can if you need balance. But again, it's less defensive. I'm not going to tell you it's wrong. I'm not going to tell you pretty much anything is wrong. It's the way you're comfortable with. All right, so extend, hand, arm, shoulder, waist, knee, back. All right, now the last and the final distance is attack. It is called the lunge. Many people know this as because that's what you see in the movies a lot. They go, "Ha!" like that, and which is fun and everything, but it is a little easier to notice if you lift your foot up and you're very obvious with it, because then your opponent knows what you're doing. So anyway, it is still a continuation of the very first. Extend your hand, turn your wrist, elbow, shoulder, torso, knee, and then take a step. Okay? Do it again. Point, hand, shoulder, torso, knee, take a step. Now, you notice when I take a step, that's all I take. So my foot is here. I take a step. It's a little bit more than a foot's distance. I'm not doing this to hit, and I'm not doing this to hit. So it's just you're in your stance, extend, bend, take a step, and recover. Point, hand, shoulder, torso, knee, step, and recover. Eventually, it will become, but your blade goes first at all times. All right, those are the 3 thrusts that we can do. Now, next time we'll talk about some guards, defending a little bit, and we'll talk about some toe work later. All right, thank you very much for watching. See you soon.